3.2 crores in the last 365 days and 1.1 crore just this year starting on the 1st of Jan. This is on one e-commerce store using just Meta ads. This is what we're here to discuss. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, first things first, let's look at the numbers. Here I am in my analytics. Today is 1,53,000 as you can see. I'm going to go to the last 365 days and here we are 3 crore 20 lakhs. And if we go this year only, which is year to date from the 1st of Jan to today, which is the 21st of May, it's 1 crore 11 lakh rupees. Now let's talk about the exact strategy I used to generate these numbers. Okay, first let's understand why this strategy actually works. This is a three-pronged strategy. We'll call it the trifecta strategy. Point number one, when you're launching a new product, you don't know who's going to buy from you. You're going to make certain assumptions about your ideal customer, and your job is to feed these assumptions into the meta algorithm. Point number two, the meta algorithm itself. So you don't know where these customers are or how to reach them. That's when the meta algorithm comes into play. Mark Zuckerberg already has all of our data, so he really knows how to find the ideal customer for your brand. Number three, and this is the most important one, your biggest responsibility in this strategy is to put the right video or the right image in front of the right customer. Point number one, we're already putting our assumptions into the algorithm. Point number two, the algorithm is doing the heavy lifting and finding these customers. But if point number three, if the right video or the right image is not placed in front of those people, you are never going to make sales. So this is the three-pronged strategy: our assumptions, Meta algorithm's knowledge, and our creatives, right? So 2 points that you have to handle, 1 point that Meta is going to handle. Let me show you how this looks on the Facebook Ads Manager side of things. All right, so in this strategy, we're going to create two different sales campaigns. So let's click on create, click on sales, continue, and make sure you select the manual sales campaign and not the Advantage Plus campaign. So in this example campaign, I'm going to be selling a t-shirt, right? So for t-shirt, I'm going to go t-shirt sales. And our first campaign is going to be called a BCT. BCT stands for Broad Creative Test. Make sure that all these three buttons are off. And now we are on to the ad set. So as you can see, we already have one ad set here. Now we're going to create some more ad sets. Now you're going to create as many ad sets as the number of creatives that you have to test. So let's say, for example, to sell this t-shirt, I have 5 videos that I want to test. So I'm going to create 5 ad sets. We already have one, so we're going to duplicate it 4 times. So we have a total of 5. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. All right, so let's change this to 4, duplicate. And now you can see we have 5 different ad sets. Now let's rename them properly so we know which ad set has which creative inside. So I'm going to select all of them. By the way, you can do that by holding down Command on your Mac or Control on your Windows PC. Click on edit each ad set. We're going to give them names. So let's make it creative 1 for all and then just edit out the number. So we have creative 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So as you can see, we now have 5 identical ad sets. Now we have to make sure that the targeting of all of these 5 ad sets is also similar, exactly identical. So first of all, we'll be sending people to the website. So let's select that. Make sure that the performance goal is maximize number of conversions and nothing else. Data set is going to be the pixel that you have linked to your Shopify store, and the conversion event is always going to be purchase. Now moving down, the daily budget for each of these ad sets, I like starting with 800. You can start with 300, 500, whatever you would like to. I like starting mine with 800. Now, as you can also see, this ad account is in the Philippines currency. Yours will be in INR. This is just a test ad account. So let's ignore that part for now. The start date will always be the next day at midnight. So today is the 21st of May. So 22nd, 0000, right? So that's 12 a.m. And that's pretty much it. Now, we have made sure that the basic settings for all the 5 ad sets is the same, but our job is not yet done. Now we have to edit each of these ad sets separately. So let's click on the first one and make sure that you are switching to original audience options. Make sure that this is selected. Click on use original audience. So in some of the ad accounts, you might not see the switch to original audience options button. Instead, you might see a button here that says further limit the reach of your ads. These two buttons essentially do the same thing. Alright guys, quick break in the video to show you how that other button looks. Here it is, further limit the reach of your ads. You click that and you click on switch setup and you will go back to the original setup that I'm talking about in the video. That's it, let's get back to it. Once you click that button, these are the settings that you are going to see. So for location, first of all, I'm going to select India and I'm going to cross off Philippines because we don't need that. Now, the age range, I'm not going to touch. The gender, I'm not going to touch. For the advantage plus detail targeting as well, I'm not going to enter anything. Since these are broad creative tests, we want to keep them completely broad. All right, so we're not going to be changing anything in that. That's all the change that we have to make, and we have to do the same thing for the rest of the 4 ad sets as well. So let's go ahead and switch to original option, switch to original audience once again. Go down, make sure that the location is India, and boom. Same thing I'm going to do for the rest of the 3. Alright, so as you can see, all of the ad sets are set up in the same exact settings. What I've also done is added each of the creatives to each of the ad sets. Now, as you can see, all the 5 ads have the exact same setup. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the 5 ads. You can see you'll be selecting your Facebook and Instagram page here. You can see the same link will go in each of the ads. The same primary text, the same headline, the same description, the same call to action button. Everything is going to be the same. Only the creative is going to be different. So as you can see, in each of the ads, the creative is the only different part, right? I've added these as an example. You'll be adding your own different creatives. As you can see, everything is different. I mean, the only thing, in fact, that is different is the creative itself. The ad sets have the same exact settings. Only the image or the video is going to be the different part, right? So that's it. That's our first campaign setup. Now let's dive into our second campaign. So our second campaign is where we'll be feeding our assumptions to Meta, right? So this one is going to be called a KT campaign. So let's click on sales once again, click on continue. Once again, a manual campaign. And in this one, we're going to name it t-shirt sales KT. Now, KT stands for keyword targeting, because in this campaign, we'll be selecting some of the keywords that we want Facebook to target for us. So let's go ahead. In the same way, we'll be creating 7 to 10 ad sets, not 5, not 3, 7 to 10 ad sets. So I'm going to go ahead and just for an example, going to create 7 ad sets. So I'm going to make 6 copies of it, duplicate it. Now, once again, in each of the ad sets, the settings are going to remain the same, but there will be one key difference. Let's take a look at what that is. So first of all, our basic settings, website, again, the conversions, test pixel, conversion event is going to be purchase. Once again, 800 rupees per ad set per day. The next day at midnight is going to be the launch time, and that's it. Now, if I go into each of the individual ad sets, I'm once again going to switch to original audience options. You have to do the same. Please make sure that you do that for each of the ad sets. Now, the only thing that will be different in this campaign, apart from, of course, the location being India, is that we are going to add a keyword in each of the advantage plus detailed targeting, because in this one we want Facebook to find people that are based on our assumptions. So for example, if you're selling a t-shirt, I'm going to add t-shirt, and this is the keyword that will go in here. Make sure to keep these keywords a little bit broad. So as you can see, it has a 491 million audience size. So make sure that the keywords that you add are broad enough. If one keyword is not broad enough, add 2 to 3 at the same time in the same ad set. So let me show you another example. So right here, once again, we're going to switch to original audience options, use original audience, make sure that we change this to India, remove any other country that we don't want. Now, in the first one, we had already added t-shirt. Now, what I'm going to do is just click here. So Facebook now gives me its suggestions. So here we can do online shopping, because we are obviously trying to target people who are into online shopping. And once again, we can see the audience size is 1.3 billion people, which is a lot of people. Let's do another one. Let's go on to the third one. Let's go ahead and switch to original audience options and make sure that we change the detail targeting here. Of course, I'm not going to touch the location anymore, because I'm sure by now you've understood what I'm trying to do. Right, so let's add t-shirt once again here. and let's see what other suggestions we can go with. So we're going to sell t-shirts. So street fashion could be a really good one. So I'm going to select this one, cancel out the t-shirt, and see, okay, 136 million. That's a really good audience size. Make sure that these audience sizes are above 70 or 80 million. That's the sweet spot for Meta to have a broad enough audience, but also target certain kind of people. So that's it. This is our KT campaign. Now let me go ahead and rename all of these ad sets. The naming structure of your campaigns is going to be a huge boost when you're going to actually optimize your campaigns or scale your campaigns. So make sure you follow a nice naming structure that keeps things very distinct and easy for you to understand. Now the way I do naming for the KT campaign ad sets is pretty simple. So let's say in this one, we're targeting t-shirt or clothing. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to name the ad set as the same thing. So I know that this ad set has this keyword inside it. Same for the next one. I'm going to go ahead and simply copy this whole thing and just paste it as the name of the ad set itself. This makes things much easier because then you don't have to open the ad set again and again and figure out what keyword is being targeted inside. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of the ad sets. All right, as you can see, I've named each of the ad set with the interest that is inside that ad set. So once again, it's very clear for me to understand. Now, it's time to edit the ads. Now, in this case, because we've already created the ads in our BCT campaign, we don't really need to create them once again for our KT campaign. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and select all the ads, all the 7 ads, and I'm going to go ahead and delete all of them, right? So simply go ahead and delete them. So you're only left with the ad sets. Now, head back to your BCT campaign right here. Select all the ads. So as you can see, we have the 5 ads that we created in the BCT campaign. Select all of them, click on duplicate and click on existing campaign. Change this to the KT campaign. For the ad set, select one and then click on add to all. So essentially what we're doing is the ads that we created in the BCT campaign, we're simply duplicating them into the KT campaign. Now, a key difference between the BCT and the KT campaign is that in the BCT campaign, one ad set has one ad each. That's it. But in the KT campaign, every ad set has all the 5 ads. So this is how it's going to look once I duplicate it. So as you can see, now every ad set has all 5 ads inside it. Now, why do we exactly do this? Understand this, the BCT campaign's only job is to figure out which creative is going to work the best for us. But the KT campaign is going to find the right audience for us. So we're doing 2 things at once. We're doing both the important things at once. We're finding our best creative and we're finding the right audience. So a combination of that is going to give you an army of ad sets that you can go ahead and scale, right? And that's it. We are done with both the campaigns. So as you can see, the campaign structure is pretty simple. In our BCT campaign, we have these 5 ad sets. These are the 5 ones. I'm just going to go ahead and click on edit here so it's easier to understand. So 5 ad sets with 1 ad each inside them. The KT campaign, 1 campaign, 7 ad sets and 5 ads each inside of the ad sets. So I hope this strategy is very clear and how you're going to execute this. All right, let's talk about budgets for a second. So we have 2 campaigns right here. If I select both of them and I select all the ad sets, we have 12 different ad sets and we're running them at 800 rupees per day. So if I multiply this, we have 9,600 rupees per day in ad spend. Now, for some of you, that might be a little bit high when you're just starting out, and that's totally okay. If you have a low budget, just follow this structure. What you're going to do is you're only going to launch the BCT campaign. Forget about the KT campaign, all right? Do not launch it because the creatives are more important than the audience, because the creatives can find the audience, but the audience cannot find the creatives. It cannot happen the other way around. So if you're on a tighter budget, just go for the BCT campaign, forget about the KT one. Once you have some sales rolling in, that's when you can switch over and add the KT campaign to your ads manager as well. The strategy might look simple, but it absolutely simply works. So you remember the store that I showed you in the beginning with 3.2 crores of revenue in the last 365 days? Let me take you inside the ad account for that store. So as you can see, with the same exact strategy, we've spent over 73 lakh rupees using the exact same structure. And on another one of our stores, we've actually spent over 1.5 crores. All of that on the same foundation. I'll also be doing a full breakdown and a full case study on these stores. And if you want to watch that, just make sure that you're subscribed. Okay, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about before I end this video. Imagine Facebook ads being a huge machine with a lot of moving parts, and your job as the media buyer is to control all of those parts all at once. But the sad reality is that you can't always do that. It's not easy to control everything when it comes to Facebook advertising. But the one thing that you can always control are your creatives. What I want to talk about is the importance of creatives. See, as and when the time goes on, Facebook is always going to introduce AI tools and more automations within this huge machine. And most of the parts will take care of themselves. But the one part that you and only you can control is the creative. If you do not put in high quality, well edited creatives within your ad ecosystem, you are never going to be able to scale your ads, spend this much money and get the returns. So make sure that you are working on your creatives more than anything else when it comes to your e-commerce business. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you got the value out of it. If you have any questions or you need any help starting your own e-commerce business, you can schedule a free call with my team and you can join our free Discord community. We have over 15,000 entrepreneurs starting their own e-commerce businesses. The link for both of the things is down in the description. And that's it for this one. I will see you next time.